So getting my dream job is other harder, which was really really hard. Who would have thought, trying to get a job at the airports would be actually difficult, I'm trying to apply for this job at the airport, be a security guard. Or, I'm trying to be like a flight attendant, but basically, my main job, my main dream job is being a flight attendant, working at the airport, being a plane, traveling around the world, experiencing other, countries as well. You would think that's a pretty, normal application because, I looked at the application online, application status, description, everything, you would think, I would think, it's a little bit easier, because, I worked at Home Depot. It's basically about customer service, look at the airport, flight attendant, mostly about customer service, helping out. And they're two pretty similar jobs though. So, you would think that, it's actually an easier job, easier pick, but comes the time that you think that it's really hard because I've been through a lot of websites. I've been on Indeed. What else? I've been on so many websites. And I've submitted my application 3 or 4 times, and I don't know. No avail. Nothing's going on. Nothing happens, and I'm thinking to myself like, you know what? Maybe this is actually kind of hard. I mean, look, finding a job in 2026 is not supposed to be easy. People are telling me about my job, hey, and people are also telling me in general, like, hey, go to college, go to college, get a degree and find a job. Like, I'm like, look, I don't think I'm gonna go back to college anyway. I'm not gonna go back to college because you are actually paying money to the school, paying money back to the government. Or I don't know how that goes, but I'm actually paying money back to take those classes. So how is this classes benefiting me if I'm paying money to take those classes, and if I do fail, I have to pay money again to take those classes, and the degree's not even worth it. Like, I'm not gonna go to college and waste my hours, waste my time on school where I actually I do have a little bit of knowledge of what to do in real life that I'm able to apply to this flat attendant job. So I tell people like, look, college is not for me. I understand college is good to go to get a degree, work at work, be a doctor, a nurse, you know, a lawyer, anything like that. You could definitely go to college and do stuff like that. But I don't have money that much. Like people will think that I have a lot of money. I don't have money that much. I have a little bit. I have a little bit of money. I'm not gonna go to school, work for 4 hours, and go to work for another 4 hours or 3 hours, whatever hours, and that will bring me income. No, it's not gonna work. So I definitely prioritize working right now over the college right now because the money situation. So I'm definitely not gonna go back to college. I said people think I'm gonna go back to college, so that's a no. But who knows? In the future, I might that could be an option that I might think. But currently, no. So yeah, definitely enough applied for Newark because I live in Newark right here. I applied for Newark Airport, and after I applied, and all people will say like yo, they need people that want to speak speak different languages, and I'm like, really? You really do need people that to speak different languages? And I don't mind look for people like that, but I mean, come on. And also, when it comes to the training as well, like you need to travel long distances, and I'm like, no, I'm not gonna do a trip. Like, why is that they don't have a location over here where I live that I can actually do training over here, or have like a open event where I could actually go to and learn about this and this, and trying to like see what's going on. But they want people to travel off board and go to their main headquarters just for training, and you still have to pay freaking money over there. I mean, I understand you gotta pay money for training, but like to pay around 30,000 just to go for a freaking event is just wild to me. It's crazy. So I tried that, and I'm like, it's not gonna work. So at this point, I'm just stuck to myself like, yo, you know what? I'm just gonna be at Home Depot for like a couple of years, and I'm gonna try and focus on myself. Try and build myself up. Try make my content more pleasure, make it more fun. Try and be a content creator. Who knows? At some point in life, that could come up. The flat attendant job could come up. Hopefully that resume reaches someone who's able to look at my resume, but. It's not easy, Even if you have a degree, it's not that easy to get a job, Even if you have a high school diploma, it's not easy to get a job. You struggle to actually get a job, because I was actually struggling when I was living with my dad, and I had no job, and I was just going to school, and he was actually working, and he actually hooked me up to the Home Depot job, and that's how I got the job. So if that's able to happen, I mean, you definitely need to have connections. The only way you're able to have a job in 2026 is having connections, because without connections, I don't know how you're gonna find a job. I mean, you might as well just start doing some DoorDash, and I don't think I'm gonna do that either. I don't feel like doing that. I don't mind doing it, but like, it's not. It doesn't feel like it's a job that's for me, you know. So it's lucky to get a job these days, you know. You need to have connections, because you need to have connections, you know, connect those people who are able to talk to the higher ups and be like, yo, you know, this guy needs a job. This guy needs, you know, try and help this guy out to find a job, because it's not easy. You know, people say it's easy to find a job these days. I mean, look, that's only happens if you have a diploma, if you have a degree. If you have a degree, it's pretty easy. You could go to trade school, go to private schools. You know, that's all the thing. But for my dream job, I'm just looking at, you know, being a flight attendant. You know, of course, you know, I was actually looking at another job. I was actually being a police officer. You know, I had a job in yeah, I think I had a job in the Port Authority. If you guys live in New York, you guys might know what the Port Authority, the Port Authority Police Department, whatever they call it. I think it's the Port Authority Police Department. So I had the email, you know, I actually applied my application, but you know, the only thing I was actually missed was just my ID, because you know that's the only thing I need to try and get. But I just don't see. I don't know. I just look at the NYPD job and I'm like, look, it's a good job. You know, it's a good starter job. You know, but like you actually miss a lot of stuff. You know, because you actually be invested. You know, being a police officer. But that would be actually be a good job though for me. You know, so you know, who knows in the coming days? You know, I'm actually thinking about it. But as far as like getting my dream job, you know, I still want to, you know, try and get my dream job, but it's harder. You know, I'm still chasing it. I'm still not giving up on that chance though. You know, so you know, I'm definitely going to keep on the lookout. I'm gonna try, you know, go back on the website and see what they got going on. You know, I'm definitely gonna try, you know, check it out more. You know, but like trying to get your dream job in 2026, no, it's not easy, man. I mean, people say, you know, the jobs came out. You know, people are hiring, but come on, nobody's hiring, bro. You know, I'll go to Indeed and they'll be like, hey, this job is hiring. You know, you have a good, you know, your resume fits this and that. Nothing happens. Like I just don't know what's going on. I don't know what's even going on with Indeed. Like what's actually going on with that website? You know, people say, "Oh, it's not good. It's not working." You know, all they tell you is just fake stuff and stuff like that. So I'm like, I don't know. So I give it a try. You know, and I say, look, and they say, you know, your description matches this and that. Your resume looks that. You know, you should try and apply to this job right here. So I give it a shot, and it's like nothing's going on. So I'm like, what's the point? But look, I'm not giving up, man. I'm not sitting here telling myself like, yo, I'm gonna be working at Home Depot for like 20 years, so I'm gonna retire at Home Depot. I don't see myself retiring at Home Depot or, you know, working there forever, because the way I see Home Depot right now, it's still a good job, you know. 401k, the benefits is good, but like in terms of like the coworkers, there's people that you have to deal with that's on a daily basis. They make your job harder, you know. I mean, that's the only thing that makes the job, you know, smooth. If you have good coworkers, if you have people who are actually willing to, you know, work, if you have people, you know, who don't stand around and not do nothing, if you have people, you know, who actually, you know, really want to try to work and, you know, get the money and, you know, work hard, it will be a good job. But then at the same time, you know, where I work at, you know, people don't care, the management don't care, you know, all you see is people just standing around like the freaking Statue of Liberty and just talking, and that's it. Like like even if, you know, you're actually working, they don't care, you know, just stand around, talk to your coworkers, and it's just down. It brings you down. It brings you down, and you can't. It's nobody says nothing. Even the supervisors don't say nothing about it. You know, the managers don't say nothing about it, and it's just like let it slide. And it's just sad. It's just sad. You know. But look, there are some people at my job you know, there's some managers at the job who are like, yo, you know what, you know, this is bad. They just see how things go, but they can't really say nothing much about it, because you know, they don't want to make, you know, other people feel bad. You know, they don't want to make other people. They don't want to make other people feel down, because you know, I guess it's confidence I would assume. But at the same time, you know, I mean, you're a grown person, you're working on Home Depot, you're a manager, you're a supervisor, you know, you should be able to tell associates that, yo, you can't be standing around just talking to your other friend while you see your coworkers just working. So all that right there brings me, you know, I think about this sometimes, but I'm like, you know what? At this point, you know, why should I be surprised, man? I should just, you know, try and find another job and, you know, get out of here and, you know, even if I have to find a part-time job, you know, that'll be cool, you know. But hey, you know, I got a pay raise. You know, at least I got a pay raise, so you know, at least that keeps me in a good spot. You know, 20 an hour, I think. So that's a pretty good thing that, you know, that usually happens on the job. But yeah, definitely, you know, to find a second job, you know, something on my bucket list. You know, I don't think, you know, I don't think I'm gonna be working at Home Depot for like 10 years though. So I don't know. So I've been there for 5 years now. So hopefully I don't go back 10 years. So hopefully, you know, next year or probably the following year, 2028, you know, something happens, you know, hopefully something good happens. But yeah, that's all I gotta say. Finding a second job is not easy, especially when it comes to like airlines, planes, and stuff like that. I understand it's a seasonal job. They don't really hire the people that much for it. They don't really hire people that much. It's totally choosing the same people. So who knows, man? One day I might get that job, or I might just work at TSA. That's also a good job as well that I'm looking at. So TSA and also being a flight attendant is only two jobs that I'm definitely looking at. So yeah, what do you guys think about this title? What do you guys think about the video? What do you guys think overall? Like, comment, subscribe below. Appreciate you guys as always. And I'm gonna catch you guys next week on another video. This is my second video I'm making right here. So yeah, if you guys see this video, thank you guys for watching. Check out my other video and like and subscribe. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. And I'm gonna catch you guys next time. Peace.